while Democrats' next presidential nominee has reared his greasy head, insiders reporting California Governor Gavin Newsom is undeniably, unequivocally planning to run for president in 2024. But there's a catch. Only if President Biden doesn't run. Sleepy Joe says, he's not sure, but I don't know.
If I were to say to you, I'm running again, all of a sudden a whole range of things come into play that I have requirements I have to change and move and do.
In terms of election laws.
In terms of election laws. Then it's much too early to make that kind of decision. My intention, as I said to begin with, is that I would run again. But it's just an intention. But is it a firm decision that I run again? That remains to be seen.
As firm as his morning constitution. Which Democrat disaster would have a better chance in 2024, Charlie?
I don't know, but I think maybe Gavin Newsom really might be the second best option Democrats have after Joe Biden, which gives you an idea of what terrible shape they're in. But I love the fact that Joe Biden admits that he's holding off making an announcement in order to skirt FEC financial regulations that would dictate how his campaign would spend money. It's a little bit like maybe we should, instead of hiring 87,000 IRS agents to go after innocent American citizens, what we should do is hire 87,000 FEC agents to go after Joe Biden's campaign to see whether he's actually running and if he's actually violating the financial regulations that that govern campaigns by simply sort of holding a fig leaf and saying, well, I'm not quite running yet.
Yeah, please keep the fig leaf on, Joe. So, Richard, the first thing I thought here is the vice president has to be upset about this because, you know, these are well-sourced individuals who are very familiar with Newsom, allegedly, and they say undoubtedly, unequivocally, if Joe doesn't run, he is running. So he's basically pushing the vice president out of the way. How do you think she takes this, Richard?
A couple things here. One, if you're going to hire 87,000 FEC agents, Charlie, they can spend some time down in Mar-a-Lago figuring out what Donald Trump's doing, all of the campaign dollars he has, number one. Number two, look, I think there's a lot of conjecture here, and I do not like skipping chapters, Kennedy. You know, with a good book, you got to read word by word. And we have 60 days to a midterm election, so let's focus on that one before we start focusing on the presidential.
Gavin
and when
Newsom,
you do that,
Gavin Newsom is not a book. He's a glossy People magazine.
Yeah, but let's be very clear. If we were to do that, we were playing this same game in 2014, we would have missed Donald Trump, right? Because in 2014, Donald Trump was not going to be the presidential nominee. If we were playing this game in 2018, we would have missed Joe Biden because he wouldn't have been the presidential nominee. Yeah. So let's not skip chapters here.
No, we can skip chapters. We can skip all the way around because California is a big place. But there are a lot of sharp elbows there, and it just goes to show that, you know, someone from his camp is planting this in order to elbow the vice president out of the way. Does Gavin Newsom stand a chance in 2024, Spike? If he is the nominee, is he going to be our president?
He stands a chance of putting California in play, I think. Can you imagine? You picture the nearly 6 million Californians who have fled California for other states to get away from Gavin Newsom ever since he got into office, only to discover that he might become president. Where are they going to go next? They'll end up having to flee to Mexico, where some local governor will ship them to whatever the Mexican version of Martha's Vineyard is. I know I'm skipping ahead, but yeah, I don't think he has a chance of winning. He might get the nomination, but when you consider the fact that the people, everyone remembers the destructive and pointless policies of the COVID restrictions, and anyone who remembers how terrible it was will hate him for being one of the worst governors during the COVID regime. And the few people who still support it will hate the fact that he routinely flouted his own orders whenever he felt like it. So I don't see what his base is. I don't think he'd actually win. And I honestly don't think he'll run because I think the only reason Biden hasn't announced it is to get around FEC laws.
So you think Biden's going to run, Spike?
If he's still alive. No, listen. I think if Senator Paul runs, I think he should do very well. I think he I think he got caught up in all the populist stuff with Trump, but he's the most libertarian senator in the Senate right now. So he certainly has my well wishes if he chooses to run.
Mine as well.
I think he'd be a great vice president to your presidency, Kennedy.
Yeah, whoa, I'm never running for office. Good Lord.
Y'all are just
My
going back to the last
OnlyFans
chapter of
page
the book. I guess
alone.
forget what's going to happen in the middle.
Yeah, no, there's.